Alright, I'm making one more video for today because it's just funny. It's just funny, guys. I made my video this morning about how you should not exclusively do partials. Obviously. So Alphadestiny, I'll go out and say it obviously, makes a video about partials, saying you should, pretty much agrees with everything I said. And yet in the comments, people are like, Alex destroyed Eric, really handed it to him, destroyed him. Wow, you guys are blind. You guys, I swear to God, watch my second video of the day. Let's just recap what I said from the video today. Don't exclusively do partials. They will have no carryover to your full range of motion lifts, which most people care about. That's just the way it is. Most people want to squat a lot, they want to conventional deadlift a lot, and they want to bench a lot. That's reality. A partial above the knee rack pull will have virtually zero carryover to your deadlift. It's not to say it won't have any, it will have very little. It will have very little. I then said odd lifts are great, but people doing them exclusively with a very small range of motion are bastardizing these lifts because it takes something that's super legitimate and you're doing it for a couple inches range of motion and you're not going to get anything out of it and it just looks stupid. And it just makes the exercise seem stupid because that's how people are starting to associate the movement as a 2-inch range of motion movement. So Alex's video, that was my video. That's every point that I addressed. That's it. And that people that only do rack pulls are setting themselves up for failure, such as Nether, who only did super high rack pulls, and then when he had to test his strength, he had to use reverse bands because he knew he wasn't nearly as strong as people expected him to be. That was my entire video. So now I'll try and go off the top of my head because I watched this maybe an hour ago. Here's Alex's video. It's not black and white. Do all ranges of motion. Okay, like I said, don't exclusively do small partials. Progressive range of motion is good if you actually progress with it. He says progressive range of motion is good, time test and proven method. Okay, so we agree on that. He said, of course, rack pulls above the knee won't have any carryover to your deadlift. So he agreed on me with that. He said rack pulls below the knee will carry over to your deadlift. I specifically said that partials have their place, especially if busting through a plateau. So far, everything has been agreed upon. Then he talks about arm wrestling and how all arm wrestlers do partials. Once again, just agreeing that partials have their place. I'm pretty sure arm wrestlers don't only do 90-degree partial curl. I could pretty much bet my life that they're doing some full range of motion stuff. Some full range of motion stuff. Then he talks about rack pulls above the knee and how they're great for building traps. Every single time anyone's asked me if rack pulls above the knee will build traps, I say yes. Do I think it's the greatest movement? No, because shoulder integrity and balance. Just about everyone already has overly dominant upper traps and completely weak, underdeveloped mid and low traps. So in that regard, I don't think that they should be your staple trap movement. Face pulls, reverse flies, overhead presses, high pulls, things of that sort. I would rate those above rack pulls above the knee. But nonetheless, if you have super stubborn traps and they won't grow, then try them out. Upper traps, that is. And this is pretty much agreeing. Every point that I've made has been agreed upon at this particular moment in the video. So
I see in his comment section everyone saying he's destroyed me and blah, blah, blah. Is this a direct response to Eric? No, this is not. This is for people that, whatever, one-dimensional, think it's black and white. Fine. And I could agree with that from that point up to the video because everything has been agreed upon. Then he talks about rack pulls above the knee and how it's not a bastardized lift because it's been around since the 1700s, known as the hand and thigh lift. So clearly this is a direct response to my video. If it has been known as the hand and thigh lift, because it's only been done as a couple inches throughout time, call it a freaking hand and thigh lift then. Stop calling it a rack pull. That's because what you are in fact doing is bastardizing rack pulls by calling the hand and thigh lift a rack pull. Call rack pulls when the bar is just above the knee, just below the knee, 4 or 8 inches, whatever, elevated. Other than that, yeah, it's bastardizing rack pulls, calling a rack pull a hand and thigh lift. Or whatever, calling a hand and thigh lift a rack pull, because it's not what it is. So that is what it is. A Zercher deadlift is a great movement. A Jefferson deadlift is a great movement. Hack deadlift is a great movement. We've talked about this stuff. He agrees with this stuff, and he's saying that it's safer to do elevated. And yes, I'm not saying to only do one range of motion. I'm not the guy that's saying you should do full range of motion or nothing. So again, with all this being said, this completely 100% backs up my point of my second video of the day of stop being so freaking emotionally attached to certain YouTubers. The guy freaking agreed with 95% of the points that I made, yet people are acting as if I got crushed and I got owned simply because he used a more aggressive tone and a lot of vulgar language in his video, yet agreed with everything I was saying. That's why I had to make this video, guys. It's almost comical.